Let me ask you a quick question. When it comes to you being a leader at the time, that during that 5 year tenure, it seems like you had an amazing positive mental attitude as a CEO, and I could just imagine me losing $1 million every 6 months. I don't necessarily know how.
He's saying this so calm, and I'm like quietly having a panic attack.
So how do, from a perspective, because that's an emotional intelligence, honestly, like that's an emotional mindset, like how to stay positive when things are necessarily not going the way. How do you do that?
Yeah,
as a leader?
So for me, we had tough days, tough nights. I didn't sleep a lot. We had a lot of crazy stuff that went on, and someday I'll write a book about it because it was crazy that you could actually have these things happen in today's environment, right?
Yeah.
The type of threats, the type of challenges we had on a daily basis, right? But again, I go back to marrying right. If I didn't have a great wife at home, I would tell Cheryl, I'd say, hey, we're losing money at a crazy pace right now. Are you okay, honey? We're going to continue to fight this. She says, if we got to go back to the first house we bought, $70,000 house we bought back in 1985, we could do that. I can remodel it again, and we'll be as happy there as we are in this big house we have today. So having a partner that this didn't affect me. I mean, she was affected. She saw the changes we had to make financial and all that kind of stuff. But she was as tough as I was, and to have that as a partner compared to a partner that might say, "You lose this business and all this money, you're losing me too." Right? I mean,
wow.
That would be a different story, wouldn't it? I mean, I would definitely not have been the confident guy that I was. So that was a big part of getting through it. And I always had a plan. My first plan for the first couple of years was we're going to kick their butts, man. We're going to get through this. We're going to kick their butts. My team members are only a part of them. And then the last year of the fight was, okay, now I got to create some leverage somewhere so I can sign a contract that'll actually allow us to stay in business. So that was the last plan. The last year of the plan was figuring out how to sign a contract with these partners I really didn't want, and stay in business. And that's what we figured out how to do. So that's a long story, but an interesting story I could tell another time.
Good deal.
And so that was 2004.
Okay.
2005 we grew a lot, and by 2006 we grew 200, 300%. We grew to over 20 million in revenues within a couple of years after that fight.
That's awesome.
And those lessons learned through that, where I learned how to sell better than ever. I learned how to sell what made us strong, different than our competition. And that back then it was, hey, we're non-union. Hire us because we're non-union. We're fighting the unions, and our costs are a little bit less, and we're going to be competitive, right? And that wasn't the greatest value proposition, looking back. But it was a value proposition to sell to people that were non-union contractors that wanted non-union parking lots, and there weren't many of us out there at the time. So that was something. But I also learned a lot about labor law. So I read up about labor law, learned everything I could about labor law, and that's been a blessing because now when we work everywhere in the country today, we understand labor law. So we go into market to understand, what's the labor situation. Is it Las Vegas where every casino must be done in a union environment, or you're just not going to do the job? They're as strong as any union in the country when it comes to the casino unions, right? If you're going to work for those casinos, you're going to be a union company. And if you work at the big parking lot next door that doesn't have any gambling in it, you can be non-union. It's a weird environment, but that's how it is, right? In other parts of the country, it's very strong union in the East Coast and stuff like that. Not many markets that are as strong as Illinois, and when it comes to union representation. But then when you're in non-union markets, how do you treat that differently? Because guess what? It's hard to find great labor in some of these non-union markets, right? In Chicagoland area, you can gripe all day long about the unions, but some of the best work ethic in the world, in my opinion, is in the Midwest. Midwest work ethic is better than most that I see.
I agree.
So
not just because I'm in Chicago, but
so lots of lessons, right? Lots of lessons through that fight, and then we put that in our rearview mirror, and we're partners with these unions today, and in the Chicagoland market, and we get along with them pretty well. They're not fans of mine, and I'm not the biggest fans of them, but that's the way it goes.